It's the Sean Widmer Podcast. It's a journal by someone that just really doesn't like to write.
Hey, thanks for checking out your favorite 15-minute podcast, the Sean Widmer Podcast. If you're watching the video, I'm in a polo shirt still. This is the longest I've worn a polo shirt in my life, a whole day. Shame. I'm in a busy day. We're going to talk about that today. I did it. I really did it today. I really put myself in a predicament today. We're going to talk about that here in just a second. Also, a song that is one of those, this happens to me more than it should, and I just need to share it with you because it might happen to you with this song, and then I'll feel better that I'm not alone. That's not the song. And video games. I think there might be a lot of nerd stuff tonight. I did a fantasy football draft. Does that make me better? I've started to get my Seahawks research in. Dude, at work today, I think at work today I got into it today. This is not a work thing, but I just need to let you know in a moment we're going to get to the story where I really did it. But at work today, I'm minding my own business, eating lunch with a couple of the guys in the kitchen area, and another coworker walks in who used to work for our company but doesn't anymore, for Studio 46 but doesn't anymore. And since he doesn't work with us anymore, he's got this air of power to him that I don't know where he's going to hear about this, and he knows who he is. I don't know where he's getting it from, but I mean, dude, it needs to stop. I'm going through my wallet right now. Bad timing. This is where my brain's at. I don't even know what these are. I don't need those. I wish I could throw away my Kentucky driver's license. I wonder if there's anything on this gift card. Dick's Sporting Goods. So I thought I had some money in there. I was excited. What else do I have in my wallet right now? Nothing. Wait, what's this? A Nike gift card. Is this 2 Nike gift cards? Am I rich? 2 Nike gift cards. I wonder how much is on those. That'll be fun to find out. And then boring cards, driver's license. Man, I got nothing good in here. I got nothing. Insurance card. I need to get something good in my wallet. Okay, so we're minding our own business. This guy walks in, and he has a piece of pizza in his hand. I'm like, where'd you get the pizza? He goes, fantasy football draft down the street. Admin only. Okay, first of all, not cool. People who brag about being admin or above, that is not the thing. Okay, I think you realize this as you get older. I think when you're young, you're like, admin, man. Management, admin, management. Yeah, that sucks. In real life, it sucks. I loved my radio job until I got a little bit of power in it, and then I was like, whoa, this is not fun anymore. This is kind of poopy. So I'm anti-management, anti-establishment, all that stuff. So anyhow, he comes walking in. I don't know why I had a whole diatribe about him. I think he just rubbed me wrong because of how nonchalant this whole thing went down. It was like, yeah, admin only, fantasy football draft. I don't want to rope Ian and Lexington Ian in with me because he and this guy are great friends. In fact, I talked to this guy later in the day, and I was like, why are we not coming over to your new place more often? And he goes, I have people over. I said, well, what about if Ian and I came over one time and played Catan? He goes, Ian's here all the time. I said, okay, well, cool story, dude. Appreciate that. Anyways, he is just nonchalant about this fantasy football draft that's happening at work. While the football guys are at this, there's not a lot of football guys in our building. The football guys are at this table. We're chowing down on some little Caesars, and he's rolling down. And I go, well, why are you here if the draft's going on down the street where the pizza is? He goes, I just left. This league at my work, they did a draft where everyone was there and people just started walking out of the building, like mid-draft. So then we started looking into this draft. It was 20 teams. I thought, what is happening? Because I was looking at his team, and Ian and I are looking at what round the draft is in, and it was in like the 4th round. So I'm thinking, okay, 4th round draft picks, who's he going to get? This is going to be a good player. And there was nobody. There was nobody left. 5th string running backs. Ian and I are sitting there looking at it like there's all the highest rated players on Yahoo rankings were people on the pup list. And it's like, maybe you just take a flyer. We were like, Chris Godwin, take a flyer on Chris Godwin. If his ankle that turned inside out last season comes back, he could be good. But it's like the 5th round. I'm thinking, what is this? I didn't realize. And then Lexington Ian was like, dude, if you listen to a Locked On podcast episode, they're being sponsored by Yahoo right now. Guillotine League. I'd not heard of this yet. This sounds awesome. So I think Ian and I are going to get in one, and it's going to be 2 players, just him and me, and we're going to stay there for the entire draft. And I'm going to order pizza, and we're going to stay in one room for the entire draft. Riley, who works in our building, she's also in this league. She drafted Josh Allen first because, of course, it was either Josh Allen or Joe Burrow, right? Got to go that way. Travis Kelce could have been on there, but he's taken now. Well, so is Josh Allen. Joe Burrow not. That's who she should have gone with. And then texted him or slid into his DMs like, look, I drafted you first. What are we doing? She came up, and she was just walking around, milling around also while the draft's going on. And they're handing Ian and I their phones. And they're like, can you draft for us? And I'm thinking, can you bring us a piece of pizza? Can you invite us to the draft party next time? Admin. So, their teams were bad. But the way this league works, it's a guillotine league. If you've not seen this on Yahoo, is this podcast already at the 6-minute mark and I haven't even got into what we need to talk about today? This is going to be a long 15 minutes. You go up against everyone. I'm assuming this is how it works. And in the first week, if there's 20 teams, I mean, I can do math. There's 18 weeks of football. I'm assuming, 2 teams maybe the first week. The lowest scoring teams are eliminated. Done. I never heard of this, so I've got to get into one of these this year. It's going to be Ian and me. It's going to be a 1-week league, and we're going to just play 1 week, and someone's going to get eliminated, and then we're going to reset. So that will be cool. Okay, maybe Big Red, Nate will want to be in it. I work with a guy named Ben who I try to see if he's into anything. And I love this guy. Like, he's I just love working with him. Anytime you ask him anything, though, he just looks at you and he doesn't say anything. And you never know if he's about ready to punch you or he's like, that's a good idea. You never know. It's like, do you want to be in the league? And he doesn't say anything. He just stares at you. I'm like, hello? I don't know. Maybe he'll be in it. It'll just take him a long time to draft. But we can check. Okay. I had a busy day today. I ran an errand at work that had me going up to Cincinnati, which I think is a cool city, and back just in the morning. Got back in time for lunch to learn about this fantasy football league, admin only, that I wasn't invited to. And then I had a bunch of email stuff I had to do, and I also had to mix in kid pickup today for school. My daughter in kindergarten pickup. And I was not only picking up my daughter, but I was picking up my nephews who live right down the street. So it's a great feature because we can kind of rotate through between my brother-in-law, sister-in-law, my wife, me. We can rotate through who's taking these kids and picking them up from school. I would love a rotation where no one does and they just kind of spend the night there, but we haven't got to that part yet. So it was my day today to pick everyone up. That's totally fine. I'm in the office. There's a lot of stuff going on. I need to concentrate on some emails. I go, you know what? I'm going to go early. My wife said there's a coffee shop right next to the school. I can go there, get the laptop out. I can sit down in quietness and fire off some of these emails, set up some of these schedules I need to do, deal with some people who need to get paid. Just the things I do at work. I'm like, this will be great. So I drive, I get to the school. I need to be there at like 2:45. It's 2:00. This is wonderful. 45 minutes I have to spend in this coffee shop working. I pull in and it's girly looking when I get there, but I'm like, doesn't matter. Whatever. I don't care. I'm going to get a coffee. Poppy's Flower Bar is what it's called. Beautiful looking storefront. It's right next to a gas station. Location's kind of weird. Beautiful looking storefront. All these flowers on the inside. Big neon sign. And I'm like, whatever. This is great. I'm going to go get myself just like maybe a drip coffee and get as much vanilla creamer as they'll allow you to put into it. Something, and that's what I'll do. I don't want to spend a whole lot of money, but I can spend a couple bucks on a coffee, and I'm going to sit here and use their, spot to do my work. So I walk in, and first thing, I might have been the first person they had seen that today. I might have been the very first person they had seen, because as I walked in, the two people who were working, and I've done way too much research on this place now, trying to find their menu. Their website has, I think, an outdated one, so I wanted their current menu. I couldn't find it. I found out that the two people I saw are like the owner of the shop and then the flower man who does a lot of their flower arrangements. But I walked in and it was like jarring. It was like, hello. Again, first person who's come in. And I felt the energy because I used to work in retail. And I remember working at Babbage's. Was that what it was called before Game Informer or before GameStop? Babbage's. That's where I worked. The video game store. If you're the first person to go into a place of work, you suck. You suck. It's a sucky thing. And I felt that energy and I knew it. Because when you're the first person to walk in, even if it's okay, like the store's been open for an hour, 2 hours, you officially kick off every employee's workday. And nobody wants that. So just know that if you're the person who's the first one in, you're not doing anything wrong. You're not breaking any rules, but you are mentally kicking the employees in the head or the groin. And I was doing that. I could feel it. They're like, whoa. And, they're doing the thing where they're like shaking their head to dust out the cobwebs. Like, okay, we have to start working for the day now. And I walk in and I feel very uncomfortable right off the bat, realizing I'm the first person, realizing there's nobody else in this coffee shop. And I know there are a ton of moms who are picking up their kids right now who get in line for some reason to pick up their kids. I think the pickup is at 2:45, and I know there's a bunch of these people who are there at 1 o'clock. It must be nice. But I know there's got to be people who are coffee lovers, right? My wife has mentioned this place. So I know there's like-minded individuals who should be there, but there's no one in this spot. And I'm looking around. It's kind of got tiki vibes to it, so I like that. And I'm looking around. I'm like, okay. And I look over to my right, and there's the bar, like the coffee bar area. And I see behind there all of the Torani or whatever the flavoring things are that you see at the coffee shops, of vanilla and blueberry and hazelnut and raspberry and all the flavor things you put in your lattes. And what are the Italian sodas? Italian sodas. So I'm like, okay. And they hit me with the, hey, hi, and I'm panic. I'm the first one there. I'm like, can I have a coffee? I blurted out, coffee me. And the lady looks at me and she goes, we don't have coffee. And I'm like, where am I? And that's when I see the sign and it sinks in, Poppy's Flower Bar. And I was like, oh no. As I look over behind the counter again, and I'm realizing these are not those flavoring things. They're vodkas. They're liquors. It's a bar. And I thought, it's 2 o'clock. I can't do that. I'm picking up 3 kids. I can't do that. I'm working. Can't do that. Ugh. And well, now I'm in, right? So I'm in the spot now. And it can't just be like, oh, I don't want to be the person who's like, shame on you, alcoholics. I love a cocktail. But I'm in there now, and I'm like, oh, no, what am I going to do? I can't just walk out. Like, oh, I thought this was a coffee shop. That's embarrassing. I should have done my research. So I'm like, oh, yeah, no, fine. I can get something else. So this gal gets up and realizing I'm brand new to living and reading signs. And so she hands me their menu. She's like, here's our cocktails. And on the back, there's mocktails. And I'm like, unbelievable. I gotta walk into this spot at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, order a mocktail, and sit here at the flower bar and drink this mocktail. I realize this is what's going to happen. And I look at the mocktail menu, and I'm just looking for like, mocktail me up old fashioned, an old fashioned, like a young fashion. Mocktail me up something like that. Get me a Lower Manhattan, something like that. Short Island. Mocktail me up something that I know. Whiskey and Coke, scene whiskey. That's not, no. I can't find their current menu for their beverages, but I brought up the one they have on their website, poppysflowerbar.com. And I know this isn't current because the drink I ordered is not on here. The drink I ordered, I believe, did have coconut in it and something else. And they have a coconut drink on here, but it's not the same one. But here are the titles of the mocktails on their website. Cranberry Fizz, Virgin Blossom Painkiller, Lavender Bubbly, Sparkling Eevee, and a Shaken Espresso. And I looked at these and I thought, I can't order this. What am I doing? And I didn't even flip over the menu to go to the cocktail side because I didn't want to see something that I'm familiar with. Now, I've looked at it since then, and there was nothing on there. They have a hibiscus old fashioned, which is where I would have gone if I flipped that menu over. Would have texted my wife, my sister-in-law, and been like, hey, can't pick up the kids. I'm 14 hibiscus old fashions in here at the Poppy's Flower Bar. My boss is texting. She's like, hey, did you get into the admin fantasy football league? I'm like, no, I'm too drunk to drive. So that would look weird. So I order this drink. I don't say the name out loud. I don't think I did. At this point, I'm just sweating. I'm like, I'll do this one. I point at it. It's got coconut in it. I like it. And this guy mixes up this drink. I pull out my laptop. I open up an email. I got to work on this kid's invoices. And I should have taken a picture, but I was so rattled by this sparkling pink tall glass that came out with the pinkest drink I've ever seen in my life. My daughter would have been in heaven. And a pink straw that was in the shape of a heart. So like if you looked right down the barrel of it, it was a heart shape. And this just gets slid on the table to me. And I looked at it. And I also knew this is one of those deceiving cups where there's really half an ounce of liquid in it. And it took him 15 minutes to make. And it's going to take me 14 seconds to drink. And I'm looking at it. And I'm looking at my surroundings. And I'm realizing I'm intruding because I'm the first customer of the day. And all I'm thinking is, I have to be in here for 45 minutes. I'm not getting in line with the moms and dads who are picking up their kids and they're the first people off the airplane. The airplane lands and you get the parent who's parked right now to pick up their kids is the person who gets up in row 30 on the airplane. The second you touch down, they're standing up like, everyone go. Like suddenly all rules in the airplane have changed. And now this is the first airplane where you're allowed to just run to the front and jump off while you're taxiing and everything will be fine. That is the parent I'm going to park next to if I go to pickup line. I can't. So I sit there. I try to sip this drink for 45 minutes. I think I make it last for 15. I don't know. You people who go to coffee shops, get an iced coffee, and it lasts you all day. What are you doing? It's $6 or $7 for this drink. You're paying for this drink, for the flavor of this drink. And by the time you are a quarter of a way through it, you people who make it last all day, you've lost all the flavor. It's now separated. It is icy, or it's watered down. The ice is melting. It's watered down. You've paid $7 for a terrible drink at this point. You got to drink them fast. So I'm realizing this with this drink as it's getting watered down. I'm like, this drink actually tastes really good. Like, shout out to Poppy's Flower Bar. For what you are, you're killing it. I just thought you were a coffee shop. Next time I go, I'm getting hammered. Next time I go, I'm going all in. And that will be when my daughter is 16. When my daughter is 16 and can drive me home. When I just tell her, I'm here to pick you up. Can you walk over to Poppy's and get me in the car? Oh, boy. So I was just stalled for 30 minutes, and then I went and parked outside far away, like farther down from the school. And once I felt like enough people had got into the parking lot, then I made my way over, and it was great. Got in the car. You have 3 little kids in your car who are all rambunctious after school, screaming different song titles they want to listen to. And they finally decide on one song title. And I'm like, okay, let's do this. And the older one's explaining to me why this song is going to be good. The other one is he's trying to work the words poop into the song lyrics before the song starts. And my daughter wants to be on American Idol. So she's singing with her eyes closed and has her arms flailing and she's yelling at the top of her lungs. Song starts. The one guy's still explaining to me why he wants to hear this song, and I'm like, dude, it's playing right now. The other one, he's killing it with the poop words. Like, he's really sliding the poop words in. And my daughter has now hit a point where her voice is so loud. I'm like, what has happened? Like, I can't tell you to be quiet because, one, that's mean, but I can't get loud enough for you to hear me say, hey, can you tone it down just a little bit, Olivia? It's wild. And I'm drunk off a mocktail. No, I'm not. Anyways. Are we at 20 minutes right now of nonsense? Shout out to Poppy's Flower Bar. I made a terrible mistake by going there today. And sorry to the employees, Shelby and Brian, I think their names are. You did not deserve that. You did not deserve that. I hope your next customers were way cooler. Music. I wanted to talk about music. I think I might push that one back a little bit. Let's just nerd out. I wanted to give a shout out to Fortnite. I paid $11.50 for this mocktail today. That's so much. That's so expensive for a mocktail. And all I could think about was, because I'm cheap, and I'm like, I expected to pay $3 for a coffee. $11. It wasn't worth it for me, for the mindset I was in. And a mocktail, I need a cocktail for $11. Anyways, $11 for that. And then I also went to the gas station today during the day because I needed some caffeine, and I got a bag of chips, they're full of caffeine, and a 32-ounce Diet Pepsi, and it was $4. So I'm processing in my brain like, I got 30 minutes of enjoyment out of that Diet Pepsi and bag of chips. I got 15 minutes of enjoyment out of that $11 drink. And Marcus has been texting me all week, like, get your Power Ranger skin in Fortnite. Okay, and I'm like, I'm not getting my Power Ranger skin in Fortnite. What are you talking about? I have to buy V-Bucks. It's going to be like $10 to get that Power Ranger skin. Meanwhile, I spent $15 today on 2 drinks that last me less than an hour. And I know if I get this Power Ranger skin, one of our rounds, if we crush it, Battle Royale, that's going to be a 40-minute game. I'm going to get with $10, I'm going to save $4. I'm going to get an hour's worth of enjoyment out of it, 35 minutes of enjoyment out of it in our first game. I'm going to get 10s, 20s, 30s of hours out of this $10 Fortnite skin purchase. So, to the parents out there who are like, we're not spending any of the money on Fortnite skins, kid. What a waste of money. I might not go with that angle because you're going to buy them a Happy Meal at some point for $6, and it's going to make it 15 minutes in your car, and they're still going to be hungry when they get home, and so you're still going to have to get them food later. But the problem is you spent $6 on this McDonald's thing that didn't satisfy, and then you're going to somehow try to explain to them like, well, you can't have the Fortnite skin because it's too expensive. You bought me 2 Happy Meals this week for more than the price of a Fortnite skin. They lasted me 30 minutes. When you go to bed, I'm playing Fortnite until 3 a.m. So I'm getting at least minimum 4 hours worth, 5 hours worth a night of enjoyment out of this skin. We're going to get down to pennies on the dollar, pennies per hour value out of these Fortnite skins. Okay, I got to go. Where are we? Your favorite 15-minute podcast. Good night. Good day. Good morning.